I woke up with the sun this morning, thinking about stuff, and I was reading a few things on my phone. And I read Caitlin Johnstone's piece about how people who depart from the narrative on Putin and Ukraine are viewed and treated. It's an excellent piece. I recommend it. She's often very good, and she's really excellent at this particular job, so it's a good piece. Then I read Steve Kirsch's Substack, in which, to my horror, he describes and provides some evidence surrounding Peter McCullough having been removed from one of his professional credentials and essentially evicted from his role as editor of a major journal in his field. So this is a highly decorated doctor with an incredible publication record who Steve Kirsch reveals a personal email in which Peter McCullough says that he's been shoved out, he's been pushed out of this journal, and that he wasn't allowed to present his case, that basically he was just given the boot over email and certified letters. And then Steve Kirsch reveals that he republishes what the journal says happened, and the journal says that Peter resigned because he basically wanted to go spend more time with his family, or one of those nonsense things, right? So you can see the two things side by side, and there's no reconciling them. So something is afoot with respect to that. But anyway, at the end of reading Steve Kirsch's piece, I'm not sure exactly what happened on my phone, but somehow the next screen that showed up was a browser window. And in the browser window was a DuckDuckGo search, as far as I know, already completed on the word suicide.
Which you had not done.
I absolutely did not conduct a search on the word suicide in any time in memory. And it's not the kind of thing, sometimes I search a word because I don't know how to spell it. I'm not sure. And so I'll search it in order to see whether I've got the spelling right. This isn't such a word. I know how to spell it. There was no explanation for why this browser window with that search would have come up. And obviously, phones are complex. I'm sure we can come up with explanations that would account for this showing up in that way. But I also know that we have been a sticky wicket for Goliath. And one can imagine that such a thing could scare certain people off or worse. But anyway, I thought it was necessary just to say, look, I had this happen. I wonder if other people have had it happen, right? That or something similar, where something that could be a message is delivered in such a way. Maybe somebody's got a technical explanation of how that search could have happened without, I don't know what it would be, but without it having a nefarious explanation. But I did think it was necessary to say, this is not a thought that occurs to me. It's been a very long time since I've had any thought in that neighborhood. In fact, since having a family, people have suicidal thoughts occasionally, but having a family displaces all of that. And I just thought it was necessary so that, look, there are obviously hundreds of billions of dollars at stake, and criminal liability, and all sorts of things, the kinds of things that people do terrible stuff over. And I felt it was necessary just to make it clear that if that was some kind of a message, then this idea is nowhere in my thoughts. The only time
if something were to happen to you,
yeah,
and the explanation after an investigation as suicide, you are saying here and now that it was not.
Well, I will tell you the conditions under which I would consider it. The conditions under which I would consider it are, let's say, that I had a terminal illness or something so destructive of the capacity to contribute to my family that I was much more of a hindrance than I was a help. In such a circumstance, obviously, there's an argument for this. Or, under torture that shows no sign it can end, where there is no hope, right? Such things, obviously, I don't want to say never, ever, ever, because there are circumstances in which this is a rational response. But what I will say is under, I've got so many reasons not, as tough as the world is, I have a wonderful life. I have people who are depending on me, whom I love and do not wish to strand. I do not wish to traumatize them. I have selfish reasons to want to live. I do not
see how this works out.
Yeah, I do not like the idea of dying and not getting to know how stuff that I was part of ended up, right? That galls me a little bit that can happen to you. So,
well, there's going to be some things left hanging.
Sure. But, the big stuff that's in play, I'd kind of like to know how it ends up. So anyway, I think it is, I think the job is done. Maybe it was a technical glitch. If it wasn't a technical glitch, maybe it was just a message designed to scare. If it wasn't that, if it was a warning, I don't scare easily, and we can't afford to have a world that's governed by people who threaten as a mechanism to get what they want. So whatever the explanation is here, I feel the discussion needed to be had, and I don't know, I feel better for having done it.